We did it! Yay! We reached 2,000 subscribers. That's crazy because I feel like the channel has grown so much in a short amount of time. I started this channel 4 years ago, and I feel like it took forever to get to like 500 subscribers, then not as long to get to 1,000, and then way shorter amount of time to get to 2,000. Talk about exponential growth. Like, oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. This is crazy. So I put out a little Q&A in a post sorry for my voice, by the way. It's really like scratchy. I've been really, well, not really sick, but like decently sick for a while. We just got back from Florida, and somehow I came back really sick. And so did everybody in my family. Oh, and my drink, sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm just like wild this morning. My drink today is a Celsius Arctic Vibe frozen berry. I thought it was the blue raz one, but I can't seem to find the blue raz one in the Live Fit. I don't know what's going on. Oh, that's pretty good. Anyway, so sorry for my voice. Been a little sick. But I did a Q&A post a couple weeks ago, I guess now. And I asked you guys just, what do you want to know about me? And I got some really good questions. I think I had 6 questions. 6? Yeah, 6 questions. So I'm going to try to answer them kind of quickly. Hopefully this video will be like 10 minutes, something like that. So let's just get into it. So first, Big Island Blue asked the question, what kind of equipment do you use to film, and what program do you use to edit your videos? Well, what a loaded question, because there are a lot of answers to this question, it turns out. I'm gonna stop and cough like every now and then, apparently. So I use my phone. That's my camera. I actually was going to get a nice camera to record. However, I like being able to just use iMovie right on my phone to edit my videos because of time. If you know me at all, you know that I'm also a high school librarian. I also like to run. I also have a 3-year-old. So with all those things, and I try to like eat semi-healthy, which takes time to cook dinners and stuff. Between all those things, there's literally no time to edit YouTube videos. So I have to use iMovie to edit, usually while I'm at lunch at school, and I need to be able to do it very, very quickly. So just having it all on one device is really helpful. So I use my phone, which is an iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I did get like the nicest of the phones, the best camera, you know, the most storage on the phone, like all that kind of stuff. Just a brief interlude to say how sweet my husband is. Turns out I have a different drink, a different caffeinated beverage now. He just brought me a Starbucks. He dropped our baby off at daycare this morning. He went and got me a Starbucks, a gigantic, absolutely enormous Starbucks. The sweet cream cold brew. It's so good. Back to the video, I promise. So as far as other things to go with filming, I do use this little tripod. I can't show it to you right now because, you know, you're on it. I just bought it on Amazon. It was like $15 or something like that. It's been super easy to use. I just carry it in my school bag every single day, and I put my phone on it, and that is how I film. Besides literally a phone and a tripod, I do have a ring light for when I'm filming at home, but when I'm filming at school, I just use the windows. But this room I'm in, it's like an extra spare bedroom, plus all my books and stuff are in here, and my desk and my computer and stuff. I don't have a light in here. There's literally no window. So I bought actually somebody got it for me for a present. I got the ring light. I also have, let me find it. They're in this bag. I have this Snowball microphone that I got from my old school. Like somehow, I can't remember, like I went to a training or something and they were giving these away, and I got that. And then I also got this little webcam, Logitech webcam. It's not the best, but basically I use these two things if I'm recording anything on my computer, if I'm doing screen recording or anything like that. I use OBS software on my computer to do screen recording. So if I have to put myself in the corner or anything of the screen to do like a, you know, tier ranking, which I want to do more of those this summer, especially because I have more time. So hopefully I'll do that. And then the program I use to edit my videos is pretty much iMovie on my phone. And then when I do anything on my computer, I use, I'm very lucky because I work in a school that has 100 Adobe licenses, and we never use like half of them. We use maybe 20 for yearbook purposes and things. And I get one too because, well, I used to be the yearbook sponsor, but now I use it so much. I even use Photoshop like at school. So I do have an Adobe license, so I can use Adobe Premiere Rush or Adobe Premiere. I used to use Premiere, but I'm not as good at it anymore. I don't like remember all the shortcuts and how to use it. It's really complicated. So I just do Premiere Rush if I'm doing something on there. So yeah, there's kind of a lot of things. I've kind of got a lot of insights over the years on how to do it. I'm still definitely not an expert on any of this, honestly. Okay, moving on. So Big Island Blue also asked the question, audiobooks with good narrators, because a lot of times that can make it or break it for people, whether whether the audiobook narrator is actually a really good, you know, voice to listen to or whatever. So I've chosen several. I went back and looked through my Goodreads and thought about any ones that really truly stood out to me. Remember the book being really good, but not the narrator, or vice versa. So not that all these are great books either, but I just remember these narrators being really, really good. The first and foremost is the Veronica Speedwell series. So the first book is A Curious Beginning by Deanna Rayburn. It's like a Victorian era mystery romance, very, very slow burn. And I love it. I love it so much. I've read 5 books in the series now, and they all have the same narrator, and she's got the best accent ever. She does great character voices. I love it so much. Most of these have an accent. That's probably why I love them. The next one is the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I just think it's so easy to listen to. Like, this narrator is just really good. It's just really easy to listen to. That's more of a young adult, like, mystery kind of thriller series. I compare it to, like, X-Men, but they don't have powers, but they're almost powers basically, meets I Hunt Killers, or like Criminal Minds or something, with a hint of a love triangle thrown in. Next would be Daughter of the Pirate King. I only read the first book so far in this trilogy. Like a adventure, if it's like Jack Sparrow were the main character and you were inside Jack Sparrow's head, but make him a girl. That's what this series is basically. And this one, I remember the narrator had a really good accent, which I loved, and she sounded so much like a female Jack Sparrow, just like the way the narrator would be like, haha, I'm doing this and I'm going to trick all these people. And I loved it. I remember liking Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, because of course I also loved this book. I gave it like 4.5 stars. I'm not really into just like plain straightforward thrillers, but this one had like a hint of a supernatural aspect, like you didn't know if the house was haunted or not. And it had 2 timelines, which I also love. And in the 2 timelines, like one is the dad and one is the daughter later on, like coming back as an adult to this childhood possible haunted house. And so there's 2 different narrators, and I loved both of them. I mean, they're not like outstanding or anything, but they were just really, really good. Like, they just made the story go by so fast that I never really even noticed the narrator that much. I wasn't sitting there being like, oh, this person's annoying. I just, you know, you just were consuming the story instead. Now, this is probably a very controversial one, because some people are going to say they hate it, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, because it's read by the author herself. And I did listen to the entire audiobook, and she has a Southern accent. More so than me. And I'm from Kentucky. I don't remember where Donna Tartt is from at the moment. Tennessee, maybe? I don't know. Somebody might be able to tell me. But she does have a very thick accent, but something about it just made it really, I don't know, authentic, because obviously she's the author of it. And I don't like all the books that authors read. Like, I think Shauna McGuire did her Wayward Children series, and I didn't really care for that too much. So it's not that I care that it's really the author, but something about her Southern accent just added so much. It really sounded like she was the main character, probably because she knew how to put the emphasis, like she knew what was going to happen in the story. So therefore I don't know, just the way she read it was so good. So I do actually recommend that one. Other one that I did not like the book, so I don't know if I should even recommend it, but I loved the narrators because there were 2 of them, and that is Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. One of the weirdest books I've ever read in my entire life. I still don't know what happened in this book. I was so confused. I thought it was all going to wrap up at the end, and it didn't. I don't even know what to say about this book. It's like a retelling of like an Oedipus complex kind of situation going on, but there's all kinds of weird, like the weirdest things you could ever imagine happening in this book. And there were 2 narrators, and I liked both of them. I thought they had really good like accents and stuff as well. I had just 2 more, which is the Kaiju Preservation Society, because it's read by Will Wheaton, and he just lends this like comedic, humorous tone to the book, which the book is kind of funny and light and just a fun, good time. It wasn't my favorite book. I think I gave it 3 stars, but I just really liked Will Wheaton being the narrator. And then finally, Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. So he read the book himself because it is his autobiography, and he would stop and laugh even. Like, he would literally pause and he'd be like, and you know, he's got that like distinctive voice and distinctive laugh. So I highly recommend this one. I'm not even huge into nonfiction, but I've discovered I really like celebrity memoirs, and I think it started with this book. Okay, next, the Backpacking Bookworm asked the question, what is my favorite ride? She knows I like theme parks, which of course I do. I got married at Cedar Point, and we are obsessed with going to theme parks all the time. We've been to Disney World 3 times already in the last 6 months. Which, are we crazy or what? Because we have a 3-year-old. I don't know. And clearly we get sick every time we go. But my favorite ride of all time used to be, so I'll go ahead and give it a shout out as number 2, used to be Fury 325 in North Carolina at Carowinds. And it is one of the tallest, fastest roller coasters in the world. It's like it's 325 feet tall, obviously. Fury 325. It is so fast. It is so fun. But there's no like theming really. It's just a ride and there's no good view or anything like that. Like you just see the parking lot. We would literally go to North Carolina from Kentucky. It's like about I don't know, was it 8 hour drive? About an 8 hour drive to get there, something like that, maybe 6, just to ride this ride because that's how good it was. We would literally stop there on the way. If we were going to Florida, we would do a different route so that we could pass through there on the way. But my favorite ride has since changed since October of 2022 was the first time I rode it, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. Another reason that we keep going back to Disney World, because this is now my favorite ride of all time ever. It is an indoor dark ride roller coaster that literally you're not just going straight. Like you spin. It is fun. It's not as like intense and scary or anything as Fury 325. It is just the epitome of fun. I've never felt such exhilaration as I have on this ride. You can pay to ride it to basically skip the lines and things like that. It's like, I think last time it was $17 a person that you just get to pick a time and get in and ride it. And we do that every single time. It is worth every penny of $17 to ride this thing. I get to ride it again in November when we go for the Wine and Dine half marathon. And we're going to actually have a babysitter here for our kids. So we'll be down there without Ash, which will be even easier to get on the ride. Because right now, my husband and I have to ride it separately every time we go. Because one of us has to, be with Ash and then the other one can go ride it. But now we can ride it together, which we haven't done in a long time. If you're ever near Disney World, like go to Epcot, ride Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It is, and there's music on it too. I forgot to even say that. There's music playing. There's like 6 or so different songs that you can get. My favorite is the first one I ever got, which was Conga by, was it Gloria Estefan? I can't remember. But the Conga song, do the Conga, that one. That song. That is my favorite one on this ride. And I have not gotten it again, and I'm very sad. We're going to kind of rapid fire these next ones. This video is getting too long. What is my favorite band? The Backpacking Bookworm asks. My favorite band is probably still, it's like really close. Ghost is my second favorite band. They're like right up there. I absolutely love Ghost. I almost want to say they're my favorite, but I still don't think they can overcome my favorite band, which is Nightwish. They're a like Scandinavian Finnish metal band. I say metal, it's like symphonic metal. Like their first singer sang opera. The second singer was more poppy, and now they're on their third singer that can sing literally anything. She's the best singer I think in the entire world. She can sing opera, she can sing pop, like she can do basically anything you could ever imagine. And I absolutely love this band, and it doesn't hurt that the person that writes their songs is their keyboard player. His name's Tuomas Holopainen. I never know how to say his last name. Anyway, he is obsessed with Jack Sparrow and roller coasters. And I'm like, I think we're soulmates, I guess. And I have seen them live several times, even though they are from, Finland, but they come here to the United States to tour quite a bit. So I think I've seen them 3 or 4 times, but my husband and I actually kind of even met through Nightwish. Not really met, but like he was a teacher at my school. He had just gotten hired. I think I might have told this story before. It's a long story. I'll have to tell it somewhere else because there's way more to it. But at one point, so he was teaching 2 doors down the hall from me, and he heard me say to a kid asked me who my favorite band was, and I said, oh, it's somebody you probably never heard of, Nightwish. And he was literally passing by the room, and he popped in, he's like, oh, Nightwish, I love them. And I was like, what? And then one of the first gifts, I think it might have been the first gift he ever bought me, was a Nightwish CD or like record, like an actual record for a record player. So because he does love vinyl records, but that was really cool. So finally, the Backpacking Bookworm also asked me what inspired me to pursue being a librarian. Well, I was an English teacher for 7 years before I was a librarian, I think it was. Yeah. And during that time, the librarian at my school that I was at, it was a little tiny school. The librarian there, she was the librarian for the middle and high school. And eventually she was the whole district librarian for elementary, middle, and high school because our district was so small. And she told me, hey, if you want to go back and get your rank 1, which if you're not in Kentucky, it's kind of like one step above a master's degree. Like you get your master's degree, and then if you take another 30 hours of coursework, you get a rank 1, you get paid a lot more money. So I've been wanting to do my rank 1 anyway, because I want to get paid more money, because why not? And she was like, hey, go into the library. It's like super easy. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, I've loved reading so much all my life. I don't have to be in the classroom with students, grading papers, making lesson plans, dealing with classroom discipline issues. I can just talk about books. Okay. And so it like clicked. It clicked somehow that like, this is what I want to do. So I started taking the classes for it, and then I had to wait a while though, because she wasn't going to retire for a while. But when she finally retired, I got her job for 1 year, but then that school was terrible and I left it. So now I'm at the school I'm at now, and I love it so, so much. And I've been there for 5 years. This will be my 6th year starting in the fall. And of course I get a new building. So this has just been, I don't think it's even been my dream job forever. Like I think as a little kid, I mean, I wanted to well, I wanted to be like 50 million different things. But when I decided I wanted to be a teacher, I was like, I get to be a teacher. But now it's like I get to do both because I'm in the high school setting. I'm not just a like public librarian where I don't get to have classes and stuff. So I'm a teacher and a librarian, and it's amazing. And finally, the board crafter asked, have you ever thought about taking your classes on a field trip to check out libraries, like a fancy library? That's a good question. I should consider something like that, but I'm going to be honest. I swore to myself, I vowed that I would never take another field trip again. I would help with field trips if somebody else was taking a field trip and they wanted me to chaperone or even help them plan it, but that I personally would never be in charge of a field trip ever again because so many things have gone wrong on field trips for me before. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's just the fact that things just go wrong on field trips. I don't know. Literally, except for like having a kid left behind, I think I've had every single thing that could happen on a field trip happen on a field trip. At my old school, we even went on one time where we went to go see a play and we took 10th graders. I think it was like Hamlet or something like that. Anyway, we go see this play and we had this student, 10th grade girl, who was giving wet willies to the kid in front of her who was like a middle schooler from some other school, like just some strange kid, like she didn't know him. And she was giving him wet willies. And the principal of that school wrote to the principal of my school to say how terrible our kid's behavior was. And that girl was never allowed to go on another field trip again, like for the school. But it's just things like that. Like, and the fact that one time the cafeteria forgot about us, even though I told them ahead of time that we were going to be gone. Here's what time we'd be back to need lunch. They'd already shut down. So they had to figure out how to get our kids lunch when they got back from the trip. Or one time the bus forgot us and we were like 30 minutes late walking into a play that was in the dark and we had to literally interrupt it and we didn't even know what was going on once we walked in because the bus didn't get there when they were supposed to, which I'd like triple checked that the bus was supposed to be there. So the stress of it is too much for me. I've had too many things go wrong. It is too much coordinating. Honestly, the amount of paperwork you have to do, if you have to charge a fee for it, you know, that kind of thing. It's too much. So no, I don't want to ever go on another field trip again. I've been scarred by field trips. I used to even go on senior trip at my old school in Florida and we would have all kinds of crazy things happen. So no, I'm good. I'm good. The only thing I did consider was maybe taking the kids to the elementary school that's right down the road so that they could read to the little kids, you know, do a program like that. Or maybe when I do Read-a-Palooza, my big reading event in the spring, that we have so many kids this time that we were packed into the library and we almost didn't fit. We had like 75 people come to this event. So I thought, well, maybe next year I could rent out the huge big meeting room that could fit more than 75 people at the public library. And we take a little field trip to the public library to do our Read-a-Palooza discussion. The only thing is I wouldn't be able to set it up and have all the food ready and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if that one will work, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can come up with something, but no, I don't want to do any more big field trips, but I will help plan if somebody else wants to. Thank you guys so much for watching. Those are just some questions I got. Hopefully that was interesting at all to you. Thanks so much for 2,000 subscribers, which is crazy. And now I'm going to go drink this gigantic coffee and I have to go run 5 miles. So wish me luck. All right, talk to you guys again later, hopefully very soon in the new library. Bye.